Baseball, speaking of which, there's a reason why we're not doing a national baseball topic because baseball has become very regional. And I have found it very hard to keep up with the stars, especially those in the National League. Even though we here in the American League with our Cleveland Guardians play National League teams once a series every year, unless you have the MLB extra innings package, unless you go out of your way to watch Sunday Night Baseball every week, which almost every other week is either a combination of the Yankees, Mets, or Red Sox. Or Dodgers. It's very hard to follow the National League. So we're going to try to stick it here at home with our Cleveland Guardians. But Josh, feel free if you want to talk some other All Stars. But our Guardians do have 5 All Stars on the team, and I've been telling people all week. When's the last time this team had 5 All Stars?
I don't know. And I've heard that Jose Ramirez is going to be in the home run derby.
Oh, I don't like that. I don't like that.
Explain.
Can I tell you why?
Yes, I just asked you to explain, so
You,
go.
you know what they always say about the home run derby?
What?
It F's up your swing and your rhythm. Because now guys are trying to hit home runs every pitch because they think they can't. Because all they did was hit 60-mile-per-hour pitches for 2 days. We've seen guys go on odd streaks in the home run derby and they come back post All-Star break and they can't hit a ball to save their life. And by the way, the home run derby, as we've seen in the past, can also cause multiple injuries to shoulders for you swinging the bat so hard constantly for that many times. And I'm not even the biggest fan of the home run derby to begin with. So if I'm Jose, I sit out. I don't like that for him or the Guardians, quite frankly.
Yeah. Um Honestly, the MLB All-Star game, like I'll watch it, but it's lost its like luster and excitement. I loved it when it was the winner gets home field advantage in the World Series. I
Well,
get
we all did, and we all get it. Why the reason is it's mostly because the American League beat the hell out of the National League for years. I think if the National League won more games, then we wouldn't have done away with it. But I am intrigued this year more so because again, our Guardians only have 1 or 2 All Stars a year because the one nice thing baseball does do, they allow a representative from every team to be in the MLB All Star game. So even a damn White Sox player and a Marlins player and a Rockies player will be in the All Star festivities. But, Jose Ramirez, Stephen Kwan, Josh Naylor, David freaking Fry, and Emmanuel Quase are all stars, and I don't have a problem with any one of them. I think you could have made an argument for Andres Jimenez at second base. He had a very good year, especially defensively, though I get it. There's better candidates out there, but I think it just goes to show you that, hey, even though this Guardians team maybe over the past couple of weeks has not played that well, guess what? They're still tied for the best record in the American League because the Yankees haven't even been playing that well. They just got swept by a bad Reds team.
Yeah, I was at Sunday's game against San Francisco, and the Giants were throwing a no hitter against the Guardians for the first, I think it was the first 4 innings or whatever, and then bottom of the eighth, Bo Naylor comes in as a pinch hitter, hits a 3-run bomb, and the Guardians win 5-4.
Yeah, and again, it just shows, and we've talked about this a lot, Josh. The one thing I love about this team, they don't necessarily need to hit for power all the time, but they can. They get contact. They get on base. They steal bases. They don't strike out a lot. They put the ball in play. And this bullpen has been absolutely phenomenal. Now, do you worry a little bit about the starting rotation? We've lost almost our whole rotation. You do. And I don't think people realize how hard it's going to be for this team to acquire a starting pitcher at the trade deadline because everybody could use starting pitching. But
Yeah,
but if the Guardians can't pull it off, and I'm not saying it's not for trying, because I know they're going to try to get one. If they don't get a starting pitcher, the hope here is that the Gavin Williams we saw last night in Detroit, even though it was a loss, is the Gavin Williams you get moving forward.
yeah. Um, because you are right that a lot of teams are searching for starting pitchers, but I feel like the Guardians do really need one because you can't keep relying on the bullpen as heavily as they have been. I get that, like for example, the Kansas City Royals pulled that type of thing off in 2015, but they had like Wade Davis in that bullpen. I'm trying to think of some of the other names they had in that bullpen. I'd
By
have to.
the way, the guards did it in 2016 with the combination of Andrew Miller and Cody Allen and the other names
Yeah,
we had in that bullpen. That was a lethal bullpen, and Terry Francona arguably revolutionized the way you use bullpens in the postseason because he'd go to Andrew Miller in the fourth or fifth inning and let him ride. And that team was down two starters. If you remember, Cookie Carrasco, Danny Salazar, if anybody out there remembers that name, he got injured during that regular season run, and the then Indians were down to Corey Kluber, who was still an ace at that time, Josh Tomlin, who was a very good pitcher, and of course the infamous Trevor Bauer.
yeah. Um, you look at that team; they had a pretty good road, pretty easy road to the World Series with the Red Sox and Blue Jays, all things considered. Uh, I I would be curious had the National League won the sorry, had the National League won the All-Star game that season in San Diego and the Cup, which would have given the Cubs home field advantage. How would that have changed that World Series?
Yeah,
That's one thing.
it's hard to say.
That's one thing I always wonder about.
And I think too that when you take a look at this team, again, the fact that they have, this team for the last decade has relied on their starting pitching and a good bullpen, but phenomenal starting pitching and barely getting any production from hitting. Four of the five All-Stars are hitters.
Yeah,
And,
Stephen, I my favorite hitter this year. No disrespect to Jose Ramirez, but Stephen Kwan has played
oh,
all
Oh,
together.
I've been saying it. Now, definitely, obviously, I watched the bet last night, but I've been telling people out there, if you're a fan of baseball, 4 to 5 times out of the 5 or 6 games a week they play, bet Guardians money line and bet Stephen Kwan to get a base hit, and you're more than likely going to win 3 to 4 times a week at least.
Yeah. Um, this is
The,
an interesting point on the Guardians schedule because they play the Tigers a total of like 10 times the rest of this month. You've got a trip to Philadelphia mixed in there. You've got the Padres. Like, this is going to be a very interesting stretch the rest of
it
this
is
for the rest of this month for the Guardians.
the
I
benefit.
think go ahead.
The benefit they do have, though, is right now they're 6 games up in the loss column, and we know that's the column that matters in baseball on Minnesota. If you can extend that by the All-Star break to 7 or 8 games, I mean, I've been saying it. Minnesota pretty much has to play 600, 700 ball from here on out to catch us if we just play 500.
Yeah. I think that Philadelphia series late in July is going to tell us a lot about this team because people are saying the Phillies are the favorites to win the World Series right now. So that series, I think, is going to tell us a lot.
They are, but how many times in baseball does the favorite actually win? We know this, and look at the Arizona Diamondbacks a year ago. Who the hell would have picked the Diamondbacks to make it to the World Series? Nobody, not even people in Arizona.
I don't think many people picked the Texas Rangers to go to the World Series either.
No, a lot of people, including myself here, had Houston. And by the way, here they come again, the Houston Astros. They're only 2
Yeah,
games out. Don't ever kill them.
yeah. You got to like beat them with a stick or take away their trash can lids. Do that.
No kidding.